to the Carmen Sense Real Estate Show. Carmen Lonardo is your host of RE/MAX Realty Group. I am Kurt Boomer Schenk. Hello, everybody. This is our first of what I think will be many shows and podcasts. Many shows. Yes. We plan on doing a lot of these, and it's all about real estate, whether it be local or national trends, and anything that goes above, beyond, and inside what you know about real estate, which is a lot, and we'll get to your qualifications shortly. And we'll talk about that and what makes you successful in helping people find their dream home or sell the home, depending on whatever situation
or both,
they're in. And both. Right. That does happen as far as I'm concerned. So, Carmen, let's just get into introducing yourself and how you got started in this business. This wasn't your first business.
That's right.
And how that all happened. Let's just get you introduced to our viewing audience. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
Well, let's start with why we call this thing Carmen Sense, right? It's sort of a play on common sense, and it's a common sense approach to real estate. Let's, demystify this thing. There's lots of buyers and sellers out there, and this really is not a complicated process. But there's some ins and outs that are helpful to know. And so, in the spirit of helping people get through a process that, the vast majority of us go through once, 2, 3, 4 times in our lifetime, this is a good thing. Let's help people out. How I got started in real estate. You're right. I had a different sort of career, really unrelated to real estate when I first started out. And, about 14, 15 years ago, I decided I wanted to do something different, and I had acquired some income property for myself and thought it would be great to manage property for other people. We'll come to find out you have to be a licensed agent to do that. So here we are. One thing led to another, and, my only regret is that I didn't start doing this when I was in my 20s, because it's a fantastic career. There is, very little that's more satisfying than, handing someone the keys to their dream home and helping them through that process. I can't tell you the number of people who I've spoken to over the last 13 years that I've been a real estate broker that didn't think they could buy a house. People that approached me because they wanted to help. They wanted help getting into a rental. So that escalated into, why don't you get a mortgage and buy a house? And we can't do that. And so, 4, 5, 12 months later, we're in no particular hurry. They're into a home, and, you're handing them the keys, and that's a great thing.
And, let's talk about, as a real estate broker, what I think a lot of people don't understand, even though you're part of the RE/MAX Realty Group, which lends you support on what you do, but a real estate broker really is running their own business.
That's right.
And people don't really understand that. They think you work for RE/MAX, and that's not necessarily the case. So tell everybody what a broker has to do to run their own business, basically.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're not employed by the firm. We're affiliated with the firm, and as a result of being a RE/MAX agent, we're allowed to use the RE/MAX international branding and marketing support that they provide for us. But by and large, we're all independent, businesses, running our own businesses.
Okay.
And so that means that the income that we generate is ours to keep as a business. But it also means that, the expense of generating that income is also ours. So, all of the marketing ourselves, this podcast, buying signs, literature, classified ads, the whole 9 yards, that all comes out of our pocket.
Yep.
So you really have to have, particularly as a RE/MAX agent, because our model kind of lends itself more to an entrepreneurial person, because very, very little of our commission goes to RE/MAX, but the expenses are all ours. Unlike some other firms where the commission splits are a lot different.
Okay.
But when I say expenses, what are we talking about? Well,
that sign behind you.
Yeah, the sign behind us. When we list a house for sale, we put a for sale sign out in the front lawn, and that sign costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not me that goes out with a pickaxe and a shovel every time I
but that's what I want to see.
list a house for sale.
But anyway, it's somebody else.
So we hire a company that goes out and installs our signs. So the sign costs money. The installation of the sign costs money. And as long as that sign is out there, there's a rental fee for the post and so forth, because we don't actually own the post; we own the sign panels. Then when we market a home, there, people have seen very common in our area here. In the Rochester area is the Democrat and Chronicle in the Saturday section, the real estate section.
Yep.
Which is filled with a whole bunch of real estate ads and open house ads and classifieds and pictures. All of these ads cost money, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And there are other publications in our area. People may be familiar with this ZagPad property source. You pick this up at the mall. You pick this up at the grocery store. They're free. But of course, the ads that are in here are not free. We have to pay for those as well. And some of the tools of our trade, I brought something that people will see when their agent takes them to a house to show them a house, is an electronic lockbox. This is a device that is usually near the door or hangs on the doorknob.
Right.
And it contains the key. And only agents that are authorized with a particular device, either a handheld device or on their cell phone, an app on their cell phone, can access the key in here to get you into the house. So it's a very secure system. But the point being, these things cost money too.
You wouldn't think that. I mean, I just thought you. Well, do you have to buy those right out? Or?
Yeah, we buy those, and then we pay a monthly fee for the service, to access the keys in there. Now there are some that are not electronic based. They're sort of like a master lock.
Right.
And those are not as expensive, but they're also not as secure.
That's older technology, right? Because I think in the days when we were looking for homes, that I'm not going to say what real estate agent, it wasn't you, but sometimes it was like, here are the keys, go to the lockbox, help yourself into the house and let me know what you think, because they were busy. Does that happen anymore?
Well, unfortunately, it does happen, but it shouldn't happen.
Okay.
There are some agents, I shouldn't say agents, there are some sellers that don't want any kind of electronic or combination lockbox. They actually want their agent there present for every showing, and that's fine. And there are some, the vast majority of people are fine with, a lockbox on their front door. But no one is fine with someone being unaccompanied to go look at a home. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So they got to have an agent with them. That's very important.
I would think there'd be some insurance and aspects to that too.
Yeah.
Even if the owner has liability and something happens,
right.
You just as an agent, you want to make sure you're there to kind of monitor that. And tell me about the internet aspect of your marketing for your clients.
Yeah. Well, so today, myself, I really don't rely on the print classifieds as much as some other agents do.
Right.
My focus is more on marketing properties on the internet, because the vast majority of buyers are finding properties on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we have to put some classified ads in because if we don't purchase the classified ad, then our ad doesn't show up on that particular company's website, and so people then don't become aware of our open houses,
Right,
and so forth. So we have to do some of that. But I market myself on the internet quite a bit. And I also market properties, on the internet. They appear on all the third-party websites, the Zillows, the Realtor.com, and so forth, and also the Democrat and Chronicle here locally.
okay.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole.
Yeah, you're
kit and
very
caboodle.
busy on Twitter for sure. I see a lot of your posts, and they're very helpful. They're very helpful. It's more information based to help shoppers and owners from to help them through the process, and even there's tips on how to get your home set and what to do around tax time, and
Sure.
you it's not just strictly real estate based. It's all very informative. And what is your Twitter address, by the way?
My Twitter is On the Move Realty.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the Move Realty.
On the Move Realty. While we're talking about providing, information that's not always necessarily real estate based, I do have something that I like to give buyers who are starting the process, which is real estate based. But it kind of ties in with the ads in the print publications. It's called 10 Deadly Mistakes. 10 Deadly Mistakes that buyers make when they get into the real estate process. And if somebody wants this, they can text me at area code 585-233-4119 or send me an email. Email address is carmen.lonardo@remax.net, and I'll be happy to get this to you. But one of the 10 deadly mistakes is number 4, limiting your search to open house ads or the internet. It's very, very important to work with an agent. Don't do this by yourself. This is ultimately when we help you find your dream home and get paid, and that's the only time we get paid is when you actually close on your home. That's what we get paid to do, is to help you search and develop searches for you and take you to homes to see. Sometimes, like tomorrow, I'll be accompanying a couple of people to open houses because they'd like me to go to open houses with them.
Okay.
But you got to have an agent, right? Don't try to do this stuff by yourself. Again, if somebody wants this, more than happy to email it to them. 10 deadly mistakes that buyers make.
Just send over a PDF and
send over a PDF. I'll email it to them.
And it's a great tease, that's for sure. But I see for sale by owner a lot.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah. Well, that's a bit of a sticky subject. You don't need a real estate agent to sell your house, right?
Heard that here first, ladies and gentlemen, on the Carmen Sense Real Estate Show.
But, I think what most people realize is that they should have had a real estate agent when they went to sell their house. There's a lot involved. People think that they are saving money by not paying a commission. Well, that's fine. And once they start, buying the ads and buying the internet space and, paying for the sign out in the front yard and being available to show their home and allow people access to their home and having open houses and so forth, time is money. They realize that that would have been a good investment, is to hire a real estate agent to handle the sale for them. And then, the other value that I think is something that we provide that oftentimes folks that are selling on their own don't recognize is the negotiation, right?
Right.
The negotiation piece and understanding human dynamics and how all of that goes. And then, once there is a purchase and sale contract, well, that's not it. Okay. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. back up a second, one of the things that we also do is help vet the buyer, make sure that they are a qualified buyer.
Right.
And they can actually consummate the sale and see it through to closing. But once the property is under contract, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, from that point all the way to closing, that is all behind the scenes stuff that gets managed by, realtors. The inspection process, the attorney approval process, collecting the earnest money deposit, making sure that the buyer is doing what they need to do to apply and obtain their mortgage commitment.
Right. And that's you're working in concert with the lawyers on this too, which
Sure.
if you're doing this on your own, has got to be a living hell.
Exactly.
I mean, it really does. I can't imagine. And all those documents that you send out that have to be initialed, and on a personal level, that stuff just gets into your email, and there it is, and it's check, and it's done, and it saves the buyer or the seller so much time. I can't imagine if you're selling on your own, dealing with all those documents and doing it by hand or whatever, however you got to do it. So, basically what you pay the real estate brokers, it's probably going to cost you near the same amount with your effort. And as you said, time is money.
Right.
And unless you've sold 5 homes on your own, you're going to go in first time cold.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Look, there are some people that have done it very successfully. I can't tell you the number of people that have called me and have said, look, I've tried to sell this thing on my own. I've been on the market now for 6 months.
Right.
Other homes are flying off the shelf like in 6 days or less, sometimes in 6 hours or less. Obviously I'm doing something wrong. I need, professional services. From the buyer standpoint, they should be very cautious with for sale by owners, making sure that they're getting the right deal. And here's what I mean. So if I were to sell a home by myself, I would go to a variety of resources. And like a real estate agent, I would see what other homes like mine in the same neighborhood have sold for.
Right.
And based on that, I would come up with a listing price and ultimately a number in the back of my head that I'd like to get for my house. And I'd proceed with selling my house. Well, the fallacy in that is that what I have done is I have looked at other homes that have sold that are like my home to come up with a price, but the homes that I used as a basis were homes in which those sellers paid out a commission.
Okay. Yeah.
So now, I'm not paying out a commission, or I'm paying a reduced commission because I'm offering to pay a buyer's agent something, finder's fee of some sort. But what's embedded in that pricing is the fact that somebody paid a commission. So without that, a buyer would be paying too much for that house.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep. That makes sense.
And this is another reason why you shouldn't do this on your own. You should have a real estate agent.
Yeah. Sounds like Carmen Sense to me, folks. So call or text 585-233-4119 or email Carmen at carmen.lonardo@remax.net. Now,
That's right.
I was reading something from a friend of ours, specifically yours, more than mine, Mary Chow
Oh, yes.
from the DNC, who's an excellent writer and really one of the finest on staff there at the paper. And she writes a lot for the real estate section. And we did our show prep like 5 minutes before the show. I'm sure you can tell. But in a recent article of hers, and I know you'll be prepared for this because you know your stuff, I saw that the hottest median home sale price is $140,000 right now. So tell me why that is, and then tell me how that crosses over into this inventory problem we have and buyers, sellers market, and My dad recently last year sold his house, and he had 3-4 offers in the first day, and he was in the 155, and people bid over. And I'm still hearing similar stories like that. So tell me about this median price and how the market is in Rochester and what people can expect right now.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people confuse, going back to my math days at Penfield High School.
Yeah.
See, I actually do remember something 40 years down
I
the road.
don't.
Well, the median simply is a number that's in the middle, right? So there are an equal number of homes that have sold above that number, an equal number of homes that have sold below that number, and which is different than the average sale. But and that's all I remember from the math class.
I don't know. Was it Macklemore?
I don't know, but there's got to be an isosceles.
We both went to Penfield High.
There's got to be an
10
isosceles
years ago.
triangle in there somewhere. I don't think it's really a question of what the median sale price is. I mean, that really our market that shows you is a very affordable market. $145,000 for a home is a pretty decent price. I think the bread and butter pricing is about 150 to about 280. Once you start topping 300 and going higher, the pool of buyers shrinks, right? And even higher, so it shrinks even more. I think most buyers are in that affordability group. The difficulty that we've been having now over the last several years is that we've got this huge influx of buyers that is fueled by a number of factors. For probably some other reasons that remain a mystery to me personally, there isn't a whole lot of properties that are listed for sale. The inventory is low. Right?
Yeah, I mean, but I've been hearing that for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is probably we're going into our third or fourth season now. But it appears as if that is changing, and the market is going to normalize. It has to. It's cyclical, just like anything else.
Sure.
So it's a matter of just waiting it out. So you've got all of these buyers wanting to buy, few properties listed for sale, and so the market has become very competitive. And what we're seeing is properties listed for sale with and then sold with multiple offers,
right.
Some well over asking price.
Yeah.
And that can be a little dangerous because so many people, have said to me, well, we don't mind paying a premium. We don't mind paying over because this is our dream home. We just got married, or we're going to get married, and we're going to, raise a family here and our kids, and we're in the right school district, and so we're going to be here for 20 years and 25 years, and it's okay that we've paid $5,000.
I'm going to go 10 grand over, and it's worth it.
Yeah. Then that's fine because I'm getting exactly what I want. But then, for us guys that have been around for a while, we understand that life has a way of throwing curveballs.
It changes.
And 3 years down the road, you decide you don't want to be together anymore. Or, now you thought you were going to have 2 kids and you got pregnant twice, but, one of those pregnancies is twins or triplets. And you need more space, right? Or there's a job relocation, or for some reason someone becomes unable to work and that property is no longer affordable. So any number of things that can happen that can make that 20-year plan go wrong. Now, all of a sudden, 3-year, 5-year, heck, a 10-year time frame, unless market conditions are right, 3, 5, 10 years from now, I can't make up that $10,000 that you paid over.
Right. That makes sense.
Sometimes it's difficult. It's a similar kind of dynamic when someone gets seller's concessions, and that's where a seller helps them to at closing by conceding some of the money to help them with closing costs and down payment.
Got it.
All right. So someone says, well, I paid X for my house, and now I want to achieve Y, but they failed to factor in that, they got some money up front. So some of the equity that they got up front. So they're not going to make it up on the sell side, right?
Right.
The longer the horizon, the less these issues come into play. But oftentimes there isn't that long horizon. We're stuck having to make decisions a lot sooner than we thought than we would have to.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that has sort of become a bit problematic, I think, and I sort of brought this.
He's got props, folks. Watch out, everybody.
Everybody drives around, right, and sees a for sale sign with this. It says coming soon.
The coming soon sign.
Can everybody see that?
There it is.
Coming
I
soon,
see it.
Right?
Yep, there it is.
Well, that means the property is really not available for sale right now. It's coming soon, right? If you see this, if you see that rider on top of a sign, please don't call that real estate agent. That real estate agent works for the seller and has a fiduciary responsibility to sell that house for the best possible deal for the seller.
So you're jumping a little early then.
Not for you.
Gotcha.
Okay. So by all means, call your own real estate agent and say, hey, I saw this house on Easy Street. The number is, 318, and it says coming soon. Can we go look at it? Your agent will stay on top of that. And as soon as it becomes available to be seen, your agent will schedule a showing appointment so that you can go and see it. If you don't have an agent, talk to coworkers, neighbors, family, friends.
Right. You can do your own research that way.
You do your own research. Someone's going to know someone, right?
Right.
But you really want to work with a buyer's agent because they're there to protect your interest and to shepherd your deal through the process. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody does live at 318 Easy Street, your house might not be for sale. I just want to make sure we're covered at 318 Easy Street.
Easy Street, right. But if you'd like to have your house for sale, just give me a call, 233-4119.
That's a heck of an analogy, 318 Easy Street. So let's, we're getting close. Spring market. What should buyers do if they're thinking of selling? And what should, or buyers, if they're selling, and shoppers, what do you do in the spring? Is that the busiest time of the year?
Yeah, properties come available 12 months out of the year, and there's buyers buying 12 months out of the year. The busiest buying and selling season is the spring. Spring market around here can start as early as January or February.
Really? I don't think most people know that.
No,
they probably still think is winter market.
Yeah, and it starts to ramp up from there.
Okay.
The busiest time, again, depending on weather and economic factors and any other thing that could be going on to influence the market, really starts to ramp up for real end of March, early April, and into June kind of time frame.
Okay.
Most buying decisions are made by the 4th of July.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the busiest time.
That's with the fireworks too.
The fireworks.
Hot zip codes. Where are people buying right now? What do you see? Anything particular?
People are buying all over, and I think that's probably one of the things that I did for myself when I first started in this business. I didn't niche myself to a certain zip code, a certain area of town, a certain price level. Because there are areas that sometimes are popular, sometimes they're not popular. There are areas that are popular with investors, and so I work with investors and also home buyers.
School districts are a big driver.
Right.
Yeah.
So stuff is selling all over the place,
Okay.
And I think that those there's no market that's really not selling.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, we're about ready to wrap this up, so it is time for Carmen Cooks.
Ooh, my favorite.
Okay, Carmen, what do we have this week for Carmen Cooks?
Well, I've got a really good tip for people using frozen pizza dough. I think it's really important you get a much better product if you take your frozen dough out to thaw a full 24 hours or a little bit longer before you intend to use it.
Okay.
It gives it time, to, I'm making pizza tonight, for example, right?
All right.
So last night, around dinner time, I took dough out of the freezer.
Okay.
And so it thawed overnight. And this morning it was all thawed and starting to proof. And that's the important thing, is you want it to proof. And so I give it like the full day to proof and blow up and, bust through the bag. It's really cool stuff. And it makes a really nice, fluffy, airy pizza at the end of the process. So if you're going to use frozen pizza dough, make sure you take it out about 24 hours before you intend to use it. Let it thaw. Give it time to proof.
And that's important. And here's a guy, Carmen Lonardo, who can save you a lot of dough in real estate. And why don't you tell us how to find you again, Carmen?
Yeah, easy to find. Pride myself in being very responsive. So the easiest way to get a hold of me is by text message. And that number is area code 585-233-4119. Or if you'd like the email, it's carmen.lonardo, that's Lonardo, at remax.net. And love to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you need to work with an agent, be happy to work with you. If you want to get a copy of this 10 Deadly Mistake buyers make when they're purchasing a home, let me know. Love to share it with you.
It's free.
Got some other goodies too that I'll mention real quick. One is a glossary of real estate terms, and the other one is my home buying guide. So if you want this stuff, let me know. Happy to send it to you, either hard copy, PDF, whatever you'd like. And again, that's 585-233-4119.
Great. And you can also find Carmen Lonardo on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter at On The Move Realty. So check them out on social media and tune into our next show for the Carmen Sense Real Estate Show in association with Remax Realty Group. And I'm Kurt Boomer Schenk from The Right Creative, and thanks for watching.
Okay, bye-bye.